It has been a cold and rainy day here in Boya Municipality, the chief town of the Southwest region. And ladies and gentlemen, you're advised to keep warm. Get yourself some blankets, some pullovers, or you take a warm cup of tea or coffee. But then the question is, what if these rains persist and they become torrential and escalate to floods? What should you do? Will a pullover or a cup of tea or coffee do the magic? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program Nature's Corner, which airs on High Television every Thursdays hours from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. And today we are looking at some of the circumstances that may lead to these rains escalating to torrential circumstances and even leading to floods. Today we are about to ask the question of what to do when natural disasters such as floods and landslides occur. And still today we are here to equally get you to understand what really natural disaster is all about, and equally to pose some very sensitive questions as concerned to natural disasters, because we're all aware that we have been witnessing lots of floods and landslides in the towns of Limbe, Boya, and the recent case of Bankolo. And when these flooding situations occur, there is always problems and a comment on the lips and tongues of Cameroonians. What is government doing? Is government effort enough? Is this what the victims need? And all of this we shall be discussing today, as we have an expert to dissect this topic to better tell us what to do when these natural disasters occur and even how to prevent them. My name is Jabi Kitty. Let's take on this jingle break. When we come back, we kickstart the program officially and we unveil to you who our guests is. Welcome back to the corridors of High Television. We are streaming live from the foot of Mount Cameroon, Boya. And as we are looking at Mount Cameroon this very evening, we are equally taking a flashback on the incident that happened on 18 March 2023, where denizens in Boya were frustrated, in Boya town to be precise, due to the flooding situation that happened over there in that part of the region, as hundreds of persons were injured and some even killed. Many persons lost their lives. And of course, we're equally flashing back to the issue of Limbe and the Bankolo incident. But then again, as we're retrospecting on these particular incidents happen, when these natural disasters happen, what are the needed resources and how do we ensure that the victim...
It is normal because most of us, we don't have the knowledge about what we are exposed to. We don't have the knowledge of the disaster or the hazard we are prone to. Some, like we see people leave other areas to come and inhabit those areas, the flood areas, like in Limbe, even in Boya. They are coming with little or no knowledge about that environment, about the hazards in that environment.
And it is a knowledge that we hope to pass on to you, dear viewers, so you avoid such happenings. So you do well to construct your buildings, infrastructures in safe places, and we have an environmental conscious population. We're talking about disaster management today on the program Nature's Corner, which is aired every Thursday as from 3 p.m. on High Television. And our guest here, Clifford, has basically highlighted briefly some of the disasters that we have, both natural and human-made. And before we dive in total into what is needed or the required resources and efforts when disasters do happen, let's look at the consequences of disaster, how these disasters are affecting our lives, killing us and leaving us frustrated. We have a report of the incident of Bankolo as our reporters. Lawi Etengene Kelvin and Sonita Ngunyi briefly paint a picture of the consequences of the disaster that happened in Bankolo neighborhood in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Let's go visit these reports.
The people of the Bankolo neighborhood of the Yaoundé 2 Council were taken aback yesterday, Sunday, 8 October 2023, following a landslide that took away 30 deaths, as the death toll is expected to rise. This has left survivors in the area to attribute their settling here due to the economic hardship in the country.
Comment? On a tout dit que c'est un baba, on ne parle pas, ça veut dire quoi? Oui, nous sommes les gens du sous-quartier, mais nous avons besoin aussi de vivre. Il faut qu'on vive. C'est difficile, il y a la pauvreté au Cameroun, mais nous avons besoin de vivre, on veut vivre. Comment faire? Si les gros poissons doivent nous avaler, on fait comment? On doit faire comment? C'est pas normal. On doit dire des choses comme ça doit se dire. On ne doit pas cacher les choses. Et il est là-dedans. Il est là-dedans, il ne fait que guetter les gens. C'est pas normal. On ne doit pas faire ça. Nous qui sommes pauvres, on a le droit aussi de vivre, monsieur le ministre. On doit vivre. J'ai un enfant. J'ai perdu un enfant, ma petite fille, dans ce drame. Et vous croyez qu'on va laisser comme ça, on va rester là à les regarder parce qu'ils sont les gros poissons. Les gros poissons n'ont pas le droit de manger les petits.
At the time of this report, rescue mission was in place by the local population who are looking for survivors. This landslide incident is coming into place after a similar incident occurred in the Damas neighborhood of the set economic capital city of Yaoundé some months ago. With natural occurrences like these, the authorities in the country are calling on all living on risky zone to evacuate so as to avoid such scenes from happening again and again.
After the devastating flood in the Bankolo in the nation's political capital Yaoundé, the survivors have been handed some relief items from the head of state. The relief item consisted of cooking oil, blankets and mattresses. The October 9 landslide killed some 30 persons with dozens injured in one of the worst disasters in recent times.
Il y a la clôture. La clôture, il s'est buté sur la clôture avec l'eau et il a attrapé le poteau pour balancer ses pieds. Quand il retourne, il voit sa maison en train de partir. Il dit non, ma famille veut plonger dans l'eau.
The divisional officer of Yaoundé 2, Daouda Ousmane, says the 17 survivors will equally benefit from the relief aid. The ministers of Territorial Administration, Housing and Urban Development, and that of Communication visited the site of the unfortunate incident.
On va organiser la distribution des matériels, c'est tout ce que le chef d'État a envoyé ce matin. Il faudrait voir comment on va les caser en attendant qu'on poursuit les recherches.
The rain unleashed floodwaters, sweeping away buildings and reducing many houses to rubble. Flood is common in many parts of Cameroon, with experts pointing to the effect of climate change as the main cause. The destruction from flood was exacerbated by the poor constructions that circumvents local regulations. Meteorologists have warned of many rains in the coming months.
Laria Thengene Kelvin there and Sunita Ngunyi revisiting the highlights of, or giving us the highlights of the incidents that happened there at Bankolo neighborhood in Yaoundé. And of course, it brings us to one point, as Sunita mentioned in her report. There are warnings of many floods of these, or many floods as these happening, and hence we need to channel conversations as to how to adapt when they happen, or how to prevent them. And there has been one particular phenomenon which I hope to discuss with my guest today. When these flooding situations happen, first want to look at government effort, government response. In the case of Boya, when the flood of 18 March happened in Boya Clifford, when Minister Tanganji came to Boya and handed over some mattresses and other didactic materials. I think it was almost the same case as in Yaoundé: mattresses, blankets, bottles of vegetable oil and all of that. We've had criticisms from left, right, and center saying that these things are not really helpful and it does not really accompany the victims to recover in the long run. So I want to get from you, as a disaster risk management expert, we want to hear from you the significance of what they have given and if actually this can accompany the victims in the long run.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say the government, they are doing their best. They are trying. Yes. But still, I would say the government, they have a lot of things on their table. And one thing which we have been always experiencing when a natural disaster or a disaster occurs is the aspect of responding. Coming to respond, maybe to provide the basic needs of the people. Meanwhile, at the long run, we see that those people, all those things will not be helpful for the long run. The states have actually lie low on acknowledging the position of disaster risk management. For disaster risk management, it is not a one-phase something which we say it is just responding. Yes, it has 5 phases, which we talk about prevention, we talk about mitigation, talk about preparedness, talk about response, and we talk about recovery, and talk about rehabilitation. Okay. Yes, so just coming to respond is not enough. You see, the limitation there is that you see the state ministries, they are most of, you see how they react to disasters. That expertise is not there. There's no involvement of expertise. We have planning. You plan, you have to see that you forecast so that you can be able to plan that, okay, these are the risk areas, because the disaster risk management, it has a framework which is guided by the Sendai framework for action, which is what is guiding disaster risk management internationally, and Cameroon is one of the signatures in that. And it talks about us understanding disaster risks and putting in place disaster risk governance and investing in disaster risks. What is this talking about? It is saying that we have to plan. Let's take, for example, you are the head of your house. You are getting old and you have your children, and very soon you will leave. You have no will. You have written no will for them to guide them, maybe when you are gone. When, let's say, you haven't written that will, now you are gone. Behind, you have infighting because they don't know what to do. They are just responding to what you have left. They don't know, nobody knows what he or she is supposed to take. The people of but when there's a planning that, okay, this is what you are supposed to do, you will do what you are supposed to do. There's a framework. Yeah, there's a framework to go. So when we have disasters and the state comes in to provide relief aid assistance,